see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning. Welcome to episode 832 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything's always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today is Monday, March 31st, 2025. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of the top secret experimental blend from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using clean Airstream roaster. More than just a customer, your family. You can get 10% off with code LOTS10, and shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks. Today we've got a packed show. I'll be recapping, unloading, and testing all of the new solar panels at the property, share an update on brewing coffee and what I'm using now, why I'm using it, and what I've used in the past, exploring how the Bitaxe Gamma 601 compares to buying a lottery ticket, and we'll look ahead at the week to come. So grab your coffee, smash the like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? Hope everything is going well. It's been a quick and busy one this morning already. Good morning, Mike's Homestead. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, it's been hectic this morning. Got up, awoken by a pretty big thunder boomer. It was early, 4 o'clock maybe, and it was like kind of off and on all night. We had storms coming through all night. And got up and had a pile of Comfrey orders to process and a little bit of show prep left to do, and just a bunch of stuff going on Monday morning. And Monday morning's always super slow, so brewed up a little bit of Food Forest Farms here. I got something special going on this week with my C4 membership this month. Brian and Chicken Joe sent out some experiments, some experimental blends, a couple different ones using some light roast and then mixing in a little bit or a little bit more than a little bit of dark roast. Now, I am a light roast coffee fan. I prefer light roast. I always have. If you can give me a nice light Colombian or something like that, it's right in my wheelhouse. But as usual, you dive down rabbit holes with something you enjoy and you start experimenting with different flavors. And I thought I would start branching out a little bit. Brian reached out, asked what I wanted for the month. I said, well, no, you can mix some stuff up. Good morning, Hunter. Thanks for stopping over on Twitch. So you guys can mix some stuff up. And lo and behold, it showed up, and it had a couple of different blends, a couple of different origins of beans, a couple of different roasts mixed together. And as I started getting into them, I realized that I probably wasn't getting the ratios that they intended. So on the bag, say they wrote 3/4 being A and 1/4 being B. When I was pouring it into my to weigh it out, I was noticing, because you can visually tell the difference in the beans when you have like a light roast and a dark roast, and I was noticing that it looked like, it was supposed to be 1/4 dark roast, and it looked like way more than 1/4. And I would taste the cup, and I was like, this is just a little too dark for my preference, but it didn't really represent what the beans were supposed to be. And so I got talking to Brian about it a little bit. And I think next month we're going to do something fun. He's going to send some just base single origin coffees. So some light roasts of some different bases, and then some dark roasts of some different single origins. And I'm going to mix them on a per cup basis and kind of keep track what I want. So when you're weighing out only 19, 20 grams of coffee, I'll be able to individually weigh those out and see how they affect the cup. So It'll be fun. It'll be fun. This one this morning, in the big bag as it's mixed on a whole pound. It's I believe it is 3/4 FTO blonde espresso and 1/4 dark Costa Rican, and it definitely had some dark piled on top because it tasted like dark Costa Rican for a couple days. So have a plan in place for next month. Enjoying the coffee regardless. I say I like light roast. I'm a fan of light roast, but I can drink a dark roast from Food Forest Farms. It's pretty solid coffee no matter what roast you're getting. So anyway, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about topics from today. First one I had up is big project from this week was the solar panel unload. If you've been listening for a while, you know that I got a line through Sean Mills and Hack My Homestead, Hack My Solar, hack all the stuff. Sean hooked me up with a connection for some used solar panels. Great deal. Basically, they came off a data center, and it was cheaper for the data center to replace them under warranty or replace the roof under warranty and put new solar panels up. And so they got rid of the panels. Sean knew the people that took possession of them, and they were getting rid of them super cheap. So Tim and I decided, the one thing about them is they were pretty much 3/4 of the way across the state. So it's going to be a 4-hour trip out, 4-hour trip back. And Tim and I talked about buying a bunch of them and said, if we can find a trailer and get a trailer load, it would make that round trip worth it, absorb some of that travel into the cost of the panels. And if we have enough panels and spread it out, it would be a pretty good deal. And so we worked on getting a trailer. Man, if you followed this story about these panels, they're worth their weight in gold. Found a trailer locally that I was going to rent from somebody and had it all set up, worked out the logistics with the company. If I could pick them up on a certain day, that I could rent the trailer. Then we had some snow and ice issues, had to postpone that, set up another day. And the night before I was supposed to go get him, the trailer guy's like, can't rent you the trailer. I have a broken axle. Never heard back from him again. I was like, I need to get this load. I need to get this load of stuff. I was renting the trailer. I wasn't renting it for just to drive around with it. Can you let me know when it's fixed? I still haven't heard back from him. He refunded me my deposit. And I mean, it is what it is. But needed to find a trailer at this point, and lucky enough, one of the guys that owns property out by Delinquent's Gully owns a dirt work company, owns some equipment, has had a trailer I could borrow, and it worked out really nicely actually in the end, because he was buying a new trailer for his equipment. This spare trailer was going to be available. I was able to use it, load it up, and then bring it back to the property and let it sit, because the road was pretty tore up and wasn't able to get it back. The trailer full of panels with our truck, and the road conditions weren't able to get them back to the property to unload them. So they were able to sit right up front by Jamie's property. If you heard me describe it, our friend Jamie lives out by the road. His first property on the easement road, and so we were able to park that trailer on his property until the access was a little better. Friend worked on the road, worked on the driveway, and hauled the trailer back up there, and so I had to get it unloaded. He's actually going to be getting rid of the trailer here in the next few weeks, and so he needed it empty, and I set that as my goal for last week. Started unloading them. A little bit about the panels. They're 73 or 75 inches long, 43 inches wide, and weigh about 45 pounds a piece. So they're not tiny little solar panels that you're going to pick up at Walmart or something, or the little flexible ones or the portable ones you're going to take out to the beach. They were big, heavy, honking things, awkward to carry. They have this really brittle I don't want to say brittle. It is fragile, but it's designed to do what it's supposed to do, but it's not designed to travel across the state and things like that. So there's a fiberglass frame on it. They have these weird little fins on them that when they sit on the flat roof of the data center, they kind of kick them up at a 5-degree pitch. Plus all the racking and everything, I think it gets them up to that ideal angle. And so on the trip, when I was bringing them, I had a hell of a time. They were really wobbly. They were hard to strap down. There was a lot of give in them. As I traveled, they loosened up. I mean, the trip was pretty horrific, and we knew we were going to lose some. The price of these was at such a deep discount that we were okay with losing some. It was a given that we were gonna buy, however many we're gonna lose 20% or half, or we didn't even know how much. I did know that a bunch were broken when we were loading them and trying to get as many on the trailer as we could. I knew some broke. I knew some broke when I was strapping them down, trying to secure them, especially along the road. On the side of the highway, I wasn't really concerned with, another solar panel broke. I just wanted to make sure I got them home without them falling off the trailer. And so the goal for last week was unloading them, testing them using the open current voltage. There's a spec sheet, a sticker on each panel. They're all the same, but there's a sticker on each panel that gives the specs of the panels, like 327 watts and 54 volts, and the open current voltage is supposed to be 64. And if you're not sure what that is, it's basically you can put the sun on the panel, put a multimeter leads in there, and it's the current that's supposed to be present with no load being drawn on the system. So just open current. So my plan was to unload each panel, test the open current voltage in the sun, see if it was reasonable, if it was close, seeing these were used panels. If I had a decent voltage, I was going to stack them off to the side. I was going to inspect the frames as I took them off and really, really see what we ended up with. We purchased 72 panels, or we got 72 panels on the trailer. When we were loading them in the yard, we know that we broke some. The manager there, the guy that was helping load them, myself, we heard some crack, this and that. And he's like, I think a bunch of those broke. So how about we charge you for 50 panels? I said, that's fantastic. It sounds like a great deal. That gives me some leeway for some to break on the way home. So I had 72 on the trailer. I paid for 50. Got home, started unloading them. I was putting them in stacks of 12s. I was getting lots of really good. The frames were good. The glass looked good. The voltage was good. Started packing them up. Got 2 of the 4 stacks I had. They were on the trailer. They were in stacks of 18. So you gotta think they're pretty tall, and lifting these up, it wore me out pretty quick. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely out of shape definitely out of shape over the winter. So looking forward to getting back in shape and being able to work a little harder. But I got 2 stacks unloaded the first day and tested them out. And I think I ended up with, out of 36, I ended up with like 24 good panels. Some had cracked frames, but the glass was still good. And I think we're going to be able to use them for projects or just alternative mounting setups. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. They weren't cracked around where the glass is or where it seals or anything. And so I got done the first day and I was like, all right, well, that's not bad. We got half. I was hoping to get between 40 and 50 panels. Seeing we paid for 50, I figure if we lose a little more than we paid for, we're still good because of the price. The price made it okay. Second day I came out and I looked at the stacks and I was already sore. It was warm. It was just one of those, you got to tell yourself you got to get it done because it was supposed to rain all weekend. I wasn't going to be able to get it out, and I wanted to have that trailer done unloaded for him when he goes to sell it. So I started unloading them and busted it out. It was a long day. In the end, I ended up with 56 good panels. So 56 panels returned good voltage out of 72. So we had actually 6 more than we paid for, which was really nice. 12 of them had some sort of crack in the frame. And like I said, these cracks weren't, I don't think they're going to affect the functionality of them. They have just been separated, and I think they're just going to need a little different sort of mounting or different applications that we can use them for. So 56 good, 12 of them with cracked frames. So even 44 out of the 72 were good to go. Like obviously not new, but good glass, good frame, good voltage. And so that's the deal. Ended up with, for the property, we ended up with 18.3 kilowatts of solar, and not bad for, I think it was like $600. So we did pretty good. I think we ended up with fuel right around 3 to 4 cents a watt. And I don't think we can beat that, even for all the dicking around and the headache that it's been to get them. We plan on using these. So Tim and I are splitting them. That's 26 panels a piece. Going to be using my 26. I'm going to be using for our cabin power. Main cabin power, we're going to be doing a isolated setup for a mini split, which is going to eat up 4 or 5 of those panels. And then panels that are going to be dedicated to different electrical systems around our area that we're building, for pumps, things like that, and water pumps, hydro systems, some maybe mess around with some off-grid Bitcoin mining and nodes and things like that. So those are things on my list. Tim is going to do similar. He's going to be using panels to power his cabins out there. And still have to get with him to finalize it, but we're either going to make one large solar field for the power to multiple cabins, or kind of do a little split off systems for each one, mini systems for each one, and then using panels for direct to DC water pumping, and projects down in the food forest and things. There's a bunch of stuff on the list. So it was a good haul. I think we'll do well with them. I think they were worth the purchase. And I think the juice was worth the squeeze. I mean, the trip, the travel, the messing around with the trailer, blah, 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 and all of that. Hunter was wondering how bad are the bad ones as far as the broken ones, so that other 16 that I'm saying are no good, the shattered. So the way these work, it was pretty easy to tell if the glass was good or bad, because even if the glass took a little bit of a hit or cracked a little bit, the whole panel shattered. Not shattered like a windshield, though. It was like safety glass. Lots of shards and stuff all over the trailer. And had to wear long sleeves and things because it was like working with fiberglass, and that like little shards get in your skin and itch. But the whole panel would be shattered. So it was pretty easy and you could hear it like crunch. So you could pick up the panel and you could hear it. And yeah, that was a bad one. So you look at it, it was all spider web through the whole thing. I threw them off to the side. I'm going to end up taking them to the dump. There's just a pile of them there. I had actually lost some before we got back. Or before I got back with the trailer on the side of the highway. I lost 3 or 4 where I had to restack and readjust stacks on the side of the highway, and ended up throwing a few of them in the back of the truck. So not bad. I'm happy with what we got. So that was a win, and one step forward on our cabin, and another step forward on the development of the property. It's a little bit backwards. So when we did our solar system in the RV, we were limited by roof space space for batteries and weight for batteries, and we had to design our system around that and fit the pieces in to make it work for us with those limitations. Now, when we're at the property here, see, most of the time you would do a solar evaluation of stuff you want to run. A, we don't have a cabin out there to evaluate all the stuff we want to run, and B, this opportunity presented itself for these panels. And so I think we're going to go a little backwards here now and start with the total number of panels we have available and work our way backwards with that. What size battery bank we want, how we want to divide them up, how many charge controllers, and different systems we want, how to integrate them. So it's kind of backwards from what you do. I'm not evaluating. Well, I will eventually to make sure it covers everything, but it'll be just a rough guess because we haven't even put the structure up yet. So it'll be fun. It's another step in the right direction. Hunter says it's crazy thinking about how much a watt costs here in the city. 1 watt for $1 is great deal. And I just bought it at 3.5 cents a watt. So I was happy. I was definitely happy. Now to start speccing out the electrical systems and that. So that is good. Guys, I got a couple of sponsors here today. Sponsored myself, but spring's here, and I've been talking, and I think it's time to do a little deal, and it's time to grow something great. So at comfreyroots.com, we're going to celebrate the spring season with a deal that's no joke, because tomorrow, guys, is April Fools. So starting April 1st, buy 1 order of Bocking number 4 Comfrey root cuttings and get 1 free when you use code NOFOOLIN at checkout, NOFOOLIN, NOFOOLIN at checkout. Whether you're boosting your soil, crafting, healing salves, or building out your food forest dreams, now's the perfect time to double down on one of nature's most powerful plants. No gimmicks, no jokes, no fooling. No fooling gets you twice as much Comfrey for the same cost. Head on over to comfreyroots.com and get yours ordered tomorrow. April 1st is when the deal starts, not today. I guess if I get it started or get it set up this afternoon, finally you can start using it. But no fooling for the month of April. We'll get you 2 for 1 on Comfrey. Hunter says, is Comfrey supposed to be flowering yet? I mean, that really depends on where you're at, man. Where you're at, it could be. Usually, so here's a little quick Comfrey lesson. Now that Hunter brought it up, I'll hit that before we move on to the next topic. But Comfrey, it all depends on what you're growing it for. If you're growing it for the leaf matter, for the biomass, and say you're making salves or feeding it to the animals or chop and dropping it, if you're wanting the most concentration of beneficial nutrients and beneficial substances in the plant in the leaves, so say you're making the Comfrey tea, the salves, the feeding the animals, or making the compost, you're going to want to harvest those leaves as the flower stalk shoots up. So the way Comfrey grows is the leaves grow out here. The leaves grow out, and then a stalk shoots up in the middle, and it puts off these purple flowers, and they hang like bells off the shoot. Well, when the shoot comes up a lot, like a lot of other plants and especially perennials, when it shoots the plant, or the stalk shoots up and the flowers appear, the flowers, the nutrients concentrate in the flowers. So it's not that it takes it all out of the leaves, but the concentration of the beneficials in the leaves are less. So if you're going to be harvesting and growing, chop and drop and regrow, you're going to want to harvest that right before those buds open up, right before those flowers appear, to get the most benefit out of those leaves. If you're letting it, and that by that, if you want to make some really concentrated salve, some stuff with some higher boost, those, from what I understand, the flowers themselves have the most dense concentration of the beneficial substances in Comfrey. So there's a list of them. I could pull it up for you, but it concentrates in the flowers. So if you were looking to make a super high-end salve or something like that, you could harvest flowers, dry them, and then use them to make your infused oil for your salves. It takes a lot. And I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that. Maybe it's a marketing gimmick, maybe whatever. But yeah, are the flowers up? If you're letting your flowers bloom, I could see flowers being up for you with Comfrey already, Hunter. And we're talking to other people up north that have ice and snow and stuff. So maybe not quite yet there. But hopefully that answers your question. Topic number 2, brewing coffee, guys. So I mentioned at the start about the experimental, Hunter says not a center stock yet, but the center is starting to look different. It'll send a stalk up a little bit. You've seen it. You've had a full-grown plant. You've seen that stalk come up that holds the flowers. When that starts to go up, it's usually a good time to chop your leaves back to a couple inches above the ground and let the cycle start again. And then you might give them some rest during the season. Let them bloom all the way out. Depends on your purposes. So. This morning I talked about the experimental blend with foodforestfarms.com and how I realized that the blend wasn't right, that the small amount of coffee I was weighing out. And it got me thinking about the difference, how different my coffee brewing has kind of evolved. I've talked a few times over the last 6 months or so. It probably hasn't been 6 months, but about the AeroPress, I'm in love with the thing, guys. It is, it's the only coffee brewer I use now. I was a French press guy for must be 4 years. I would say 4 years. So going back, I started everybody else with a drip brew, Mr. Coffee back when I was a kid and growing up. Through my parents at work and all sorts of places, we had drip brew. I was introduced to a pour over and a French press about the same time. As I started experimenting with each one, I felt that the French press was easier to deal with, less time, less messing around than the pour over. And I gravitated away from the pour over. Used them a few times here and there. Never really a big fan. I've had trouble with filters ripping out, filters dropping through. It just didn't work for me. Not that it's a bad method. The cup of coffee you get out of it's fantastic. But at the time I was using one, it was easier using a French press. So I gravitated towards the French press. That was my go-to method for coffee for quite a long time. It tastes better. And if you're going to spend money on premium coffee beans, you're going to want to brew it in a premium way. That's my opinion, at least. And I feel like the smaller batch you brew, so you got your drip brew that's going to be 12 cups. You have your pour over, your French press that are going to be, my French press is 32 ounces, so a little bigger, a little smaller than your drip brew. Obviously, pour over is usually about the same. Now this AeroPress is making one, like 12 to 16 ounce mug at a time. They do make an AeroPress XL, which makes 2 cups at a time. And I have been messing around with some larger brewing, some heavier concentrate with the AeroPress, and then adding the appropriate amount of hot water to bulk up the volume. And that's working well. I'll be talking about that eventually in the future here once I get everything figured out and how much I actually want to brew. So I always use the weight of the coffee to measure it. So I weigh out my coffee, 19 grams for my I believe it's 15-ounce cup. I think that's where I'm at. I have to look up the ratio. I have it saved in my little coffee cupboard, but basically it's grams per ounce. And there's a standard, a world standard, and it might not be your taste preference, but it's right around my taste preference. And so I settled with that, and I did that to make my coffee consistent. Might not be a big deal to you. It is to me. I like to taste the difference. I like to taste the difference in the origins. I like to taste the difference in the blends. I like to enjoy a coffee. I like to have two different bags, two different blends, or two different origins, and have one of each back to back. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Thanks for stopping in. He's curious what a gram goes for these days. The good stuff or maybe decaf. I don't know. But anyway, weigh out that coffee, make the AeroPress, and it hits different, guys. I am not gonna lie. I thought it was a gimmicky thing for, I saw it for a couple of years. The thing's been around for a long, long time. I've seen it kicking around. I started using, like I said, I was a big fan of the French press, and I found a camping French press that I was pretty impressed with. And basically, you could heat the water up in the canister instead of most of the French presses were the double-walled vacuum stainless steel. And you can't heat that up on an oven or on a stovetop or on a campfire because of the vacuum, because of the double-walled vacuum. But I found one that it was just a tin, and then it had an insert that was a French press. So I thought that was pretty cool, using that camping. And somebody was like, well, man, the AeroPress is way cleaner, way easier to clean out, uses way less water. And I'm like, yeah, but I really like my French press. How good could this AeroPress thing be? It's basically a French press. It looks like a Keurig French press is what it looked like to me. But then I bought one. I got one. I picked one up, and I tried it. And it's Chris Dixon says you can heat it up on the oven once. That's right. You can do anything once, I think. But yeah, I picked up the AeroPress, and I haven't gone back. I wavered a couple of weeks on Mondays when I was doing the show where I needed a little extra coffee to get through the show than one mug. And so I was making the French press on Mondays, and then every other day I was using the AeroPress and making one mug at a time. Or what I've learned is I can make two mugs at a time and pop one in my travel mug, and it keeps it nice and warm, and I can drink it as needed. And that's for testing. I'm testing it out to hopefully get a small carafe, and where I'll be able to make concentrate, a large or a AeroPress full of concentrate, and then I need to concentrate to get it out of my mouth, and then add the hot water to make it the right concentration in the larger container. So that's the end goal of my experimentation. But it's working as it should right now, and it's working well. So if you guys are looking for a little change in your coffee, you should check out an AeroPress. Quick, easy, simple to use, super clean. Man, I never thought I'd be impressed by a coffee maker this much. Like, really, the difference is above and beyond. So definitely check out an AeroPress, and I've gone away, man. Like, I don't think I could ever buy a drip brew for myself again. The French press is there, and it'll always be there, and it'll be a backup for whatever I need if I run out of filters for the AeroPress. That is another thing about the AeroPress. It does have a consumable. It has a little paper filter that you got to buy. That's the only downside I can really see to it. And you can also buy a replaceable stainless one, and I don't know how much that adds to the mess, because the little paper filters, you're done brewing your coffee, you basically twist the cap off and you pop it out, and a little puck pops out into the garbage or your compost recyclables. So definitely check it out if you've been hesitant. I was, and I wish I hadn't have been. Another thing that Chris Dixon says, my coffee maker is beautiful. It'd be hard pressed to change her out. Ooh, aren't you a lucky guy? You got a coffee maker that makes your coffee for you all the time. Does she also drink coffee, or is she so selfless that she makes coffee just for you? Because that's the real ticket right there. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, I got it last week. Gonna mess around with some solo mining. Bitaxe Gamma 601 is a little solo miner. If you're into Bitcoin at all, you're into mining at all. Solo mining, it's a joke. It's a lottery ticket is how I see it described. There are some alternative motives to running a solo miner. And what a solo miner is, basically, it's a small little computer that's helping secure the Bitcoin network by mining blocks, by solving that huge math equation that I've mentioned in the Bitcoin process every 10 minutes. There's an equation that needs to be solved. The computer that solves the equation is rewarded with the block reward, which currently is about, I think it's 3.1 Bitcoins plus transaction fees. At today's price, we're sitting around 250 grand. The normal, I shouldn't say normal, the way these are most often mined are by huge, powerful computers or banks of computers, or what they call mining pools, where everybody with a smaller miner kind of jumps in together and pools their power. And then when a reward is found, then it's distributed to the pool owner and then everybody in the pool. Bitaxe has developed a little solo miner, and I tell you, it's here. I got it here. Here's the Bitaxe Gamma 601 next to a cup of coffee. Very small. Cool little custom 3D printed case by Solo Satoshi. Don't know if you're going to be able to see that with the light shining on it. But basically, Bitaxe has made a tiny little miner that you can add it to a pool if you want, and take a small amount of Satoshis coming to you every day. How much that is really depends on what pool you join, their fees, and a little bit of luck. Another way to run this is by yourself. So basically, you're running it against all the other mining computers on the Bitcoin network. And it's a long shot that you're going to mine anything. Now, solo mining is you basically forego the little tiny bit every day for a chance at the big prize, I guess, the block reward. I'm looking at it as a way to help decentralize the mining process for Bitcoin, spreading things out. From what I have read, the more solo miners on the network, the more power goes to the solo miners. The more, I shouldn't say power. Power is a tough word. The more effective solo miners become, the more solo miners are on the network. I think be a better way to say it. You're helping decentralize the network, whether you gain a block reward or not. There is a cost to it. It does cost electricity. These are very cost efficient. They list 15 watts average power consumption on the website. From people I've talked to and others that I've read, it pulls more like about 20 watts. So I'm wondering if the miner itself pulls 15 and the fan draws maybe 5 watts. Regardless, I haven't turned mine on yet. I'm going to be doing some content on setting it up and getting going with it and things like that. So I basically unboxed it. I'm going to put it back in the box to show what you get in the box. Maybe. But I got to record some content with it and fire it up, and then I'll get some power draws and things like that and see what it's actually drawing. But I wanted to take a minute and talk about this versus a lottery ticket. People call it lotto mining, solo mining, lotto pool, all sorts of things. And so I was curious. How it worked out. The Bitaxe from Solo Satoshi. Solo Satoshi is a company and a guy I follow over on Nostr. I interact with him all the time. I went ahead and just bought the Bitaxe from him. I also picked up an affiliate account. So if you're looking to buy one, the link is down in the video description, in the audio description. I'll be doing content about it on the website, and the link will be there. It is a little more expensive than other places. You can find it cheaper. I like to support the people that I network with on Nostr. From Solo Satoshi, Mike Somstead says, "What's the price?" From Solo Satoshi, the miner's $180. And this is how I see it break down. The odds of mining a block with a Bitaxe Gamma 601 is about 500 million to 1. If you know the odds of hitting the Powerball, it's about twice that, or half that. I guess the odds are half that. You're twice as likely to hit a block with the Bitaxe than win the Powerball. That being said, the Powerball is worth 400 million, 200 million, whatever. And like I said, the block reward for mining a block is about 250 grand right now, 3.1 Bitcoin. So $180 for the Solo Satoshi. Your drawings, if you're going to equate it to a lottery, your drawings are happening about every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes-ish, give or take, a block happens in Bitcoin. Every 10 or so minutes, you're having an opportunity to get that block reward, to mine that block. So you're basically getting 144 drawings a day. From what I can tell, and they haven't been around long enough to actually get hard numbers, from what I can tell, they're saying that the Bitaxe Gamma is probably going to last 3 to 5 years. So you're looking at 144 drawings a day for 3 years for $180, plus your 15 to 20 watts of power a day. It works out pretty much pretty decent cost per drawing. And like I said, it's twice as likely to hit a block than you are to win the Powerball. But I thought that was an unfair comparison because, like I said, the Powerball is multiple millions of dollars, and the block reward for solving a block is only like 250 grand. So I thought I would look at it against a comparable lottery. And as I was looking at the Tennessee lottery options, it was like the Tennessee Quick Cash drawing was around $220,000, $230,000. So I thought that was comparable. That drawing takes place once a day. It's $1 per ticket. So basically, if you want to spend $180, you could either do it all in one day or you could do it 180 days. 180 days, that's 6 months. So you're going to get 180 chances. Now, the chance at winning a Tennessee Quick Cash is about 1.6 million to 1. So you are way more likely to hit a full Tennessee Quick Cash, but you only have 180 opportunities. All I'm saying is it's astronomical chance that you're going to win either the lottery, the Tennessee Quick Cash, the Powerball, or mine a block with a Bitaxe. But man, it's a little fun experiment. It helps decentralize and secure the Bitcoin network, and it's going to be fun to watch. And who knows, maybe you hit one. I'm going to be doing a lot of experiments. The one reason I really like having this is with the extra solar power, the extra solar panels out at Delinquent's Gully. I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of content on direct to solar setup, maybe probably with some battery banks and whatnot, but setting up some solar mining. And the cool thing about the Bitaxe, and especially with Solo Satoshi and the custom 3D printed cases and racks, you can run like a little solo miner farm. So hopefully run a little tiny solar powered solo mining farm. Solar powered solo mining farm. There you go. And see what happens. So it's a little bit of an experiment. It's a gimmicky thing. But the thing is, Bitaxe has been hitting blocks. I remember a while ago, it must have been 6 months ago now, maybe a year ago, I saw the first rumblings of a Bitaxe hitting a block. And I was like, oh, that's cool. They finally got one. And then another one did. And another one did. And I think it's been four different blocks have been solo mined by small. I think 3 out of the 4 were Bitaxe, and then another solo miner has hit recently in the last few months. So who knows? I think it's a great experiment. I think it's with it being open source and you can mess around with it a little bit. I think it's a great way to learn. I'm excited to dig in and learn more about it. Chris Dixon says, would it run clean enough on solar? Will it need its own circuit? I'm guessing with the solar, I'll end up with a charge controller and I'll be pulling the power off the battery. I think they are experimenting right now with a direct to solar model. I'm curious how it resets. So if it loses power, how it resets and how to handle that. And if it's a pain in the ass to get it to reset and restart and reconnect, it'll end up being on its own battery bank and go that way. So we'll see how it goes. So will it need its own circuit? It will be on its own circuit, I'm guessing. And I'm also dealing with the same thing with like the live streams I want to set up in the camper, since we're getting ready to start going back out to the cabin for weekends and things. Losing internet every weekend, it's going to go offline unless I want to take it with, and then dealing with power consumption. So we'll see. It's all going to change when we actually have some place we're going to sit down and have all our utilities. One thing you want to do is have a good place to secure that Bitcoin. If you get lucky, lucky and you buy a Bitcoin or a Bitaxe Gamma, you hit a block, you're going to have 3 whole coins, and you got to have something to do with it. Or if you're stacking the sats for a rainy day and you want to secure them, you're going to want to have a good hardware wallet. And one I've been checking out for a long time now. I've been using the Jade and now the Jade Plus for quite a while. So if you're gonna be stacking sats, don't trust. Verify and secure them with Blockstream Jade or the brand new Jade Plus. They're top tier hardware wallets built for serious Bitcoiners, but easy enough to use for beginners. The Jade Plus comes with crisp new screen and tactile buttons. No more scroll wheel gymnastics. If you have the Jade and you know the scroll wheel, it's all buttons on the Jade Plus. And it even has an optimal metal case upgrade. It's sleek, secure, and built by folks who know Bitcoin inside and out. You can get 10% off the Jade or the Jade Plus when you use code The Lots Project, or just head over to the link that's down in the show notes and keep your Bitcoin safe. Highly recommend them. Highly recommend the Blockstream Jade and the companion green software wallet. So I'll be doing also some content on setting up Satoshi to go to the Jade wallet and how that works. So look forward to that. And one other thing this week I have on the list, a little look ahead. We'll probably be doing this every week at the end of the show. And then if you guys have anything else you want to talk about after, feel free to drop it down in the comments. Coming up this week, like I said, I'll be making a Bitaxe Gamma 601 content. I'm gonna get that fired up, mess around with it, see what kind of content I can make out of that. Probably some blog posts and short video, long format video will come out of that. What else do I have? Okay, I got also, as far as product videos, I have a box over here of products that need videos made. They're things that I've been using that I feel comfortable reviewing. I guess that I have enough time in on them to decide if they're worth it or not. Unfortunately, I have a couple of things in there that I probably won't recommend, and that's always a sticky thing. I try to be upfront with companies when I talk to them about sending out samples that the fact that you're sending it to me does not mean that I'm going to recommend it. The fact that you're sending it to me does not mean I'm going to be like, yep, you should buy this. Here you go. It's also a catch-22 that you're spending time producing content that won't drive sales. The one nice part about making affiliate content is you get a little bit of income from views and things like that, subscriber growth, and it all adds into it. But the main driving factor for making a review video is conversions on sales of the item. When you take the time to record a video and say, don't buy this thing, you kind of cut that part out. And so they really fall to the bottom of the list. And I have a couple right now that I have to do videos. And it might just be me. It might just be me that doesn't think that it's worth it. But honest and open is what I try to be. And if I would buy it again and spend my money, I'd let you know. So when I have to do videos, and that's the thing is I agree to do a video. So I got to do a video for something that I'm not going to recommend. So I got to try to get caught up on those, get those knocked out. More blog posts over on the website in the podcasting section is what I'm working on right now. Last week I got some stuff out for Podmatch. Great service to use if you are a small business owner, you're a course creator, you're selling something, you just have a message you want to get out there. Jumping on Podmatch and being a guest on podcasts is a great way to spread your word. Podmatch makes it super simple, and I can't recommend it enough. This week, Director Detour, I have some great episodes coming up, all coming from Podmatch. The one that came out this morning, John Brink, he's an interesting character, man. He's 84 years young and is currently a bodybuilder, a competitive bodybuilder. He was born in soon to be Nazi-occupied Holland, and made his way to Kazakhstan and built a lumber empire over there on the west coast of Canada. His story is fantastic. You got to check that out at the release today. AJ, my buddy AJ is going to be coming out on Wednesday. His name is Ali Khan Jetha. Go by AJ in the show. And then Shannon Russell on Friday. 3 great episodes you're going to want to check out, direct or detour. You can find it on all the podcast players, or you can jump on thelotsproject.com, and it's got its own page over there where each guest gets their own blog post. You can find it at thelotsproject.com. Beyond that, this week, hopefully getting mushroom logs moved out at the cabin and prepping to, like I said, head out there on the weekends again. The weather is kind of turned. You know, I take a peek out at the weather for the week to try to gauge what we're going to have in store. And Corey yesterday said, you know, did you see the 87 in the forecast? I was like, what? 87 means we're like really borderline on having to kick the air conditioner on for the dogs. Clyde and Norman aren't so bad. Walter would have already been drove us crazy enough to turn the air conditioner on this season, I think. But 87 in the camper, if it's sunny, depending on if it's raining and things, we might need to kick on the air conditioner for the dogs. And then I looked a little further in the forecast, and we had like a 34 overnight a few days later. So literally going to be having to run the wood stove and the air conditioner within a few days of each other. Hopefully neither. Hopefully the weather smooths out and we don't need to pop that air on or fire that stove up overnight any of the times. But yeah, some little weather going on. Get the cabin ready to go back out. Spend the weekends out there. I had pulled the batteries out for the winter so they didn't freeze. The battery banks that we use, got to get everything set up again. We kind of quote unquote winterize the cabin since we weren't going to be going out there. So basically a little cleanup, move those mushroom logs, which we processed all up by the cabin. We're going to move those down into the food forest and continue to work on getting all the soil top in the food forest covered up by both cardboard, mulch, straw, whatever we can to keep that vegetation that we don't want growing from popping up and filling everything in. What else is on the list here? I don't see anything else. I think we're all good. So if you guys don't have anything else, we'll wrap it up here. Today we talked about the solar panel project unload, what we got out of it and what we expect to do with it, the Bitaxe and the solo mining, brewing coffee and why I've switched to the AeroPress, and then a little bit of look ahead for the upcoming week. You're going to want to be sure to check the video notes for sponsors of the day's show at comfreyroots.com with that buy one, get one sale coming up. And if you already have Comfrey, but you want to help support the show, you can send anybody you know, help spread the word. If you go to comfreyroots.com on Facebook, there's a Facebook page. I'll be posting about the sale. If you could share that, spread the word that way, I'd greatly appreciate it. We do only ship within the United States, so all you Canadian folks, I'm sorry, but I don't know how well they would come across the border. So that's going to be No Foolin', NOFOOLIN, for a coupon code for buy one, get one free in the month of April. And then the Blockstream, Jade, there's an affiliate link down there for that. And you can always, if you want to do your Amazon shopping, if you are going to be doing some Amazon shopping, you can go to thelostproject.com. There's a banner right on the landing page that says, "Are you shopping on Amazon today?" Click that banner. It gets you into my tracking links, and you'll be able to help support the show with everything you buy. All qualifying purchases earn me a small commission, and I appreciate that greatly. Anyway, I hope you have an awesome week. It's a good Monday. We'll get rolling here. Be rainy all week, so hopefully you get a lot of content put out. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Make it a great week, and we will catch up with you next Monday.
snow.